So I'd like to do 4 minutes of material and then 1 minute of feedback.
You got it.
Also, was the rudeness me pissing?
No.
Okay.
It was the loud leaving.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just I just like to encourage leave in between so you don't.
Yeah. Because that would have been damaging to take a piss but then regret it after the fact. Like normally, those are things I like to feel good about.
It's now you don't as out of context as this is, your piss did not bother anyone.
Okay. All right. So 4 minutes and then 1 minute of feedback.
Yes.
All right. Good. So first things first. I'd like to give a shout out to all the lady in the audience. Yeah. All the lady. Get it? Because there's only one. Does anyone else's mouth feel fucking gross right now, or is it just me? It's just a me thing? Okay, I guess that's fine. So I was in the East Village a few weeks ago, and I popped into this bathroom, and it was one of these very weird bathrooms. It's mostly a guy audience, so you guys have maybe seen this. It's one of those bathrooms that has a shitter right next to the urinal with no partition. What was the thinking behind that? If someone's taking a shit next to someone who's pissing and they want to play chess, they can do that, or hey, how's that piss you're taking? Oh, not too bad. How's that shit going? So speaking of asparagus, how I was just surfing the internet recently, and I learned that how when you pee after you've eaten asparagus and it smells like asparagus. You guys know, yeah, that happens. Well, I have a slightly different genetic thing happening. When I eat asparagus and then piss, it makes my coworker's dick smell like pizza. So it's kind of like a different thing that happens there, and we have to coordinate because there might be times when he doesn't want his dick to smell like pizza, like if he's on a date or something. So I do some writing here and there. I'm sure I'm not the only person in the room, and I think a lot about language, about words, and I came up with a new one today. It's self-deprecation. It's when you poop your pants, then make fun of yourself about it after the fact. Like defecating, self-deprecation. So, there's another universe where that joke was funny. It's just that we haven't found that universe yet. We're still looking. Yeah. So again, getting back to the topic of language, I would like to know who decided to call it a blowjob. It's not. It's really not a blowjob. It's more of a ram a giant dick down your throat kind of job. It's, I'd say, the more accurate description. I don't know. I guess the guy that decided to call it a blowjob is the same guy that decided to put instructions on a shampoo bottle, to use the shampoo, pour some of it in your hand and get your hair. We've pretty much all been using shampoo for most of our lives, and I guess if you can read, you should probably know how to shampoo your hair, but that's just a me thing. Another interesting word, stereotypes. It's another word that really is not that accurate. When you say, oh, Chinese people all know karate, that's really not a stereotype. That's like a monotype, because when you think of stereo, you think of complex, three-dimensional stuff, not kind of this one-dimensional characterization. When I think of stereotype, I think of a complex person, a black 5'2" professional hockey player who's into musical theater. Is that the 4 minutes?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. I gave you some water so your mouth doesn't feel gross?
That was just a gag. My mouth feels fantastic.
Okay, I didn't know. I was like, we got a whole part. All right. the played chess thing, I see where you're going on it, but I wonder if the phrasing is too conventional. Like the idea of what was the thinking behind this, like that's a question that's often asked. So maybe a way to phrase that and get the same joke across is with sarcasm, with like, hey, you guys might think this is stupid, but I think it's great. I've been sitting there, you know, my buddy and I have been trying to play chess through the partition forever. You know, that way it's you know, you're playing the fool a bit, but in a sarcastic way so people understand that you're not. It's a way to tell the same joke just without the conventional phrasing.
Okay.
The comparison for the blowjob shampoo doesn't really hold up because the shampoo directions are something so obvious, and the blowjob is something that's antithetical to what it is.
Right.
So it seems to not be the right comparison, but maybe there is a comparison there, because it is kind of funny, the idea of a blowjob and like the gently blowing could be a funny act out. There was great advice that I got last week from Greg Warren, and if you recall, I don't know who said it to him, but the idea of let the joke be a meal, and what that basically means is have faith in it, don't kick your own legs out from under you. So the self-deprecation, if it doesn't get a laugh, that's okay, because you know it's funny, and we know it's funny, and this isn't the environment where it's going to get a big laugh. If anyone gets an out loud laugh here, fucking good for you. But I think have more confidence in your jokes, you know, because some of them are well written, and it's okay if they don't hit, because the only person who knows it didn't hit is you until you tell us. So let the joke eat, you know, let it sit there.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I have, and unfortunately we don't have a lot of time for feedback, is anytime you tell a joke about your coworkers or working in an office, you're telling people you're not a professional comedian. And even though it's okay for us to know that, because a lot of us are not, once you're on stage with an audience, the second you say you're not professional, they lose faith in you.
Oh.
So if you do a joke about having a job at the time, they all of a sudden don't believe that you're a comedian. Yeah. All right. So
Thank you.
We'll move on. Thanks.